Hello everybody, I'm John.
I'm Matt.
And that means it's Matt Reviews.
And
Hello.
I'm reviewing one of my favorite movies from this point since I just got done watching it. What's the point of that?
Yeah, we're reviewing an all-time classic today, and
I don't think he's reviewed it yet.
I've never talked about this film, I don't think. But it is by one of my favorite directors, starring one of my favorite actors, with my favorite composer of all time, and that is...
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, oh my god! It's Brother
There
Frank.
it is.
It's Brother Frank.
Blu-ray. I actually have two copies of this movie.
Yeah.
I have one on DVD and one on Blu-ray.
I'll put this back up here. Okay, I'm back.
So, yeah, Good, Bad, and...
Let's watch this house.
So, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. It's, of course, directed by Sergio Leone, the classic spaghetti western director who worked all the way up until the
That's so racist, though. Spaghetti western. Just because he's Italian, you have to call it spaghetti western.
That's what these movies are labeled. Movies like, you know, those movies, the Django movies, Once Upon a Time in the West. I mean, they're called spaghetti westerns.
That's racist, though.
They were made by Italians, but they were made in Spain because there was a lot more desert and stuff in Spain.
Oh.
So yeah, it's directed by Sergio Leone, who would go on, you know, work his whole career making nothing but classic movies, all the way up to Once Upon a Time in America, which is like a fantastic movie.
But it's not a western.
No, it's not a western. He didn't do only westerns. He did a lot of stuff.
I'm sorry.
Stars Clint Eastwood, you know, one of the movies that made him a superstar. It also stars Lee Van Cleef, who is a superstar.
Rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah, the great Lee Van Cleef. Composed by Ennio and Morricone.
And also, what's the other guy's name?
He plays Tuku, but I don't remember his real name. But he's fantastic movie too. So let's go ahead and get into the plot of the film.
Oh my god, we like pale people now.
Basically, Clint Eastwood plays the Good, which they call him Blondie, but he doesn't have no name. Hence the Man with No Name trilogy. He never says what his name is in his movies. Then you have Tuco, something like that.
Tuco, whatever.
I can't pronounce it.
Tokoro.
Tokoro, who is the Ugly, and you have Lee Van Cleef character, who's Angel Eyes, and he's the bad. So basically, at first, they're all kind of three separate. You have Lee Van Cleef, who is a hitman, who's out to get this man named Bill Carson.
We'll figure out who that is later on.
Yes.
If you watch this.
And Tuco is just your two-down thug kind of guy, you know.
He's a bandit.
He's a bandit going around causing chaos.
Just money from clerks.
Yep, and Clint Eastwood's character, Blondie, is just a gunslinger who's wandering through the country.
He's just a gunslinger, though. He's also, he's a con man.
He's a bit of a con man, because eventually Tuco and Blondie get together, and they have a partnership where Blondie turns into Tokoro, turns him in, gets the what would you call it? Help me, Matt.
The money?
Yeah, the reward for turning him in, and when they go to hang him, he shoots the rope, gets him loose, and they go to another town and do it again and again. Well, eventually they split up, and Clint Eastwood, you know, screws him over, takes the money. Well,
I thought we were about to get into that.
Whatever we do, we just turn it off. It's all good.
Close the door real quick.
Okay, anyways, he takes the money, screws him over, and Tuku gets him back by kidnapping him, basically, and forcing him to walk through the desert with no hat, no jacket, and no water.
Eventually, his face looks disgusting.
It was like the mummy. And he
Except with no rap.
and eventually they run into
Angel Eyes, right?
Bill
Oh yeah, Bill.
Carson, who Angel Eyes is looking for.
Sorry, I got off track.
And he tells Tuco that there's, how much was it? $200,000 or something like that?
Yeah, and coins.
And gold, yeah. And he tells him where it's located. It's located in a cemetery. When Tuco goes to get water, he comes back, Bill's dead, but he's told Blondie what the name of the grave is.
Or no name.
Huh?
Or no name.
Yeah, but they call it Blondie, so we'll call it Blondie. Even though he's not really blonde. He's more brunette, yeah. And he tells him what name on the grave is. So now these two are forced to work together to find
the gold.
Yeah. And eventually they run into Angel Eyes through a bunch of misadventures they go through. And then it's a race to the finish line between the three of them to see who gets the gold first, the good, the bad, or the ugly.
I guess people already know what happens in this movie, except what happened the very end of it.
It all ends with a big gun battle at the end. Yeah. So that's the plot for Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and I feel like I shouldn't have to say it because hopefully most of you have seen this movie because it's a classic.
If you haven't seen this movie, you've at least heard about it.
Oh yeah, good lord, yeah. Or at least heard the music.
Yeah, or seen the references in cartoons, shows. If you think about it, if you watch Animaniacs, the Topro guy, he actually shows up, and so does Angel Eyes.
And they actually do a skit with Chicken Boo.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Referencing these movies.
Spaghetti, you get it?
The spaghetti western.
Yeah.
But so what'd you think, Matt?
I gotta say, before I watched this movie, I thought it was gonna be, well, since I've seen all these references, I thought it was gonna be like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's nothing like that, is it?
No, I mean it's another one of Leone's masterpieces.
It's amazing, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's well shot.
Well, Leone.
Yeah.
Leone was a master of that kind of thing.
The music is just so freaking awesome.
The acting is great.
Yeah, the acting is
I mean,
great.
if you were going to knock off on anything, it's an Italian film. Italians didn't shoot dialogue live. So
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
The dubbing can be a little sketchy at times, but it's still not as bad as some of the other Italian dubbing I've seen in the past.
Black Sabbath, maybe?
Yeah, it was dubbed. But it was dubbed in Italian.
But which one? I don't understand.
So what do you think about let's break it down into pieces. First, we'll start with the acting. What do you think of the acting as a whole?
As a whole?
Favorite actor, or favorite character?
Well, my favorite character has to be No Name.
Blondie.
Yeah, Blondie.
Yeah, he's a good, smart A.
Bad A.
Yeah.
So when we first started the movie, I was just schizophrenic because he's like, I'm gonna turn you in. Back. Come on, let's get out of here.
My favorite character in the movie, I like all three of the guys, but my favorite's always been Angel Eyes.
Angel Eyes, the bad guy.
I think he's one of the best bad guys in cinematic history. He's pretty much pure evil. And he establishes that from like the first 5 minutes of the movie he's in. He comes in.
He does this. Poof!
But a sick man,
He's sick.
And he also breaks another taboo where he kills women and children, And he beats up another woman, I mean, first 10 minutes of the movie he's in, he's freaking broken all the taboos of like a villain, And Lee Van Cleef is just an amazing actor. I mean, the guy is just brilliant. So, and of course you can't talk about this movie without talking about Eno and Morricone.
Yeah, oh my god.
One of the best soundtracks of all time, If not the best, yeah. Eno has always been my favorite.
It's weird? I'm going to get off track for a second. The Halloween movies people brag about how good it is? Mm-hmm. Watch this movie.
Well, it's two different kind of scores. Morricone went big with this score. John Carpenter went simplistic. They both work in their respective areas,
Epic music with westerns.
I mean, like, simplistic works just as good as big.
I'm drinking my water. I started this movie. I don't think I even took like one drink.
Everybody knows the one main piece of and that's
not
good.
even the best.
No, but my favorite piece of music in this movie is "Ecstasy of Gold." It's the thing where Tuco is running through the graveyard trying to find the grave.
It's the most epic scene in the movie because of the soundtrack.
It is amazing. And all it is Tuco running, looking at graves.
He's like this. And you do the soundtrack, I'm like
oh. I mean, there's nothing going on, but it's my favorite part of the movie just because of the score. I was telling Matt, I literally get goosebumps when I listen to that piece of that soundtrack. It is amazing. I mean, Morricone was just a genius when it came to it. And he could do simplistic. Watch Once Upon a Time in the West. The harmonica theme. I mean, it's not a big...
You can use that for your short films.
I did. It's a brilliant piece of work. And Leone...
I'll go with that Bride again.
And, Clint Eastwood working with Leone again.
I would wish how you say it?
Ennio Morricone?
Yeah, I wish he wasn't dead.
I don't know if he is dead. I mean, I think he is. But I'm not 100% sure about that.
But if he is, I wish he wasn't. Because if I made a movie, I want him to do the score for it.
Yeah, but there was good Italian composers who came into place. Guys like, the Goblin Boys.
Goblin.
And those guys came in. They kind of took over for where Eno kind of left off,
Yeah, in the end, it kept going on and on and on. I guess.
Italian cinema just really doesn't exist anymore,
Oh my god, we're already 11 minutes in. We haven't talked about the movie. We talked about the score.
That score's important. It's like when we did Frankenstein, all we talked about was Dick Smith.
What
No, Dick Smith, who was it? Jack Pierce. Dick Smith did the extras.
You know what? What's doing the part 2 then?
Well, I don't know part 2. We still got time. I mean, we're pretty much wrapped up with it. We talked about this movie. We both love it. It's a masterpiece.
Oh.
They just don't make movies like this anymore, man. I mean, True Grit was a good Western, but it was a remake. Westerns just isn't a genre that's made much anymore,
I've seen a Western that came out in 2011.
What was it?
I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically a rip-off of this movie.
I mean, there's a Good, Bad, and the Weird. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's similar. I mean, it has a very similar plot. I mean, it's not 100% like Good, Bad, and the Ugly, but it's similar, But Westerns just aren't, and it's unfortunate because a good Western is great,
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? Like I said, Italian cinema doesn't really exist anymore either. I mean, I can't remember the last time an Italian film hit America.
They still make Italian movies, though.
I'm sure they do. I mean, but of the era, man, you had the spaghetti westerns, the horror films, the rip-off action movies. I mean, it was great stuff, and unfortunately, it just doesn't happen anymore. But we're running out of time, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What are you giving it?
I'm giving it a 5. If I could give it any higher, I'd do it.
I'm gonna give it a 5. One thing we didn't talk about was the length of the movie. It's a long movie, and that was a lot of people's complaint.
Maybe 2 or 3 more hours?
It's 178 minutes long, which is long.
Longer.
But
he made longer.
He did make longer. Freaking Once Upon a Time in America is like 200 or something minutes longer. It's crazy. But that never bothered me with this movie.
No.
I mean, that's a lot of people's big complaint, but I'm still locking in 5.
Yeah.
5 out of 5 from both of us. So yeah, that's Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I'm John.
And one more thing before we turn this video off. And there's no blackout screens. Yeah!
You gotta transition a scene somehow, man. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm John.
I'm Matt.
Is anybody gonna make a wish?